I'm having this little bike ride event this weekend, and I'm going to be making some t-shirts, and I'm going to be screen printing those t-shirts, and I'm going to show you how I do it. Now, to do basic screen printing, we need a few supplies. We need obviously a screen. I like using these pre-made screens. You can make your own screen if you can find proper fabric. You can stretch that fabric over like an old picture frame or an embroidery hoop or something like that. The pre-made frames are a little more expensive, but they're high quality. They're a little more convenient. We also need some chemicals. I'm using the Speedball Diazo kit. In the kit we have our photo emulsion, which is what we will coat our screen with. Then there's a little activator for that photo emulsion. And it also comes with this photo emulsion remover, which will allow us to clean our screen and reclaim it so we can use it on another project. The screen itself, they come in a variety of sizes, mesh sizes. The mesh size indicates how many fibers there are per inch. For typical t-shirt printing, you're probably going to want a screen that's between 100 and 150 mesh. Also going to need a squeegee. There are a variety of squeegees in the world. There are these flat-edged squeegees, which are more suited for finer detailed work, paper printing. The ones I like are the round-edged squeegees, which I find work quite nicely on textiles. Also need a light source to expose the screen. I'll get to that in a little bit. And obviously need some sort of ink. Screen printing fabric ink is probably the best way to go. It'll make a nice permanent print. And finally, we need some sort of design, and several ways to do this. I usually make a design on the computer, print it out onto two transparencies, make it 2 copies, and we'll use that to burn our image into the screen. Okay, I'm going to take the sensitizer and just follow the directions. I'm going to fill this jar halfway with cold water. Inside it's a very concentrated dark green liquid. Then I'm going to shake this to dissolve all the chemical. I'm going to take the photo emulsion. There's a sealed top. And you notice I'm wearing gloves because the sensitizer is a little bit of an irritant. I'm going to take the sensitizer and just dump the entire contents. And then I'm just going to stir this photo emulsion until it's a nice even and a light green in color. It's going to change from light blue to green when you add the sensitizer. Okay, the photo emulsion is light sensitive. You don't have to work in a dark room or anything like that, but try to work somewhere where there's not a whole lot of light. What we're going to do, we're going to coat the screen using a squeegee. And what I'm going to do, we're going to coat the top side first. So I'm just going to pour some of the photo emulsion onto the screen. We're going to take a squeegee, we're just going to work it into the screen, making a nice even thin coat, filling all the gaps in the screen. Once we have the top side done, we're going to flip it over and do the back. Once both sides are coated, I'm just going to prop it up right side up by propping the corners up, and I'm going to let that dry overnight. The photo emulsion can be saved, and it's good for a couple months. If you put it in the fridge, it's good for a little longer than that even. So I'll let this dry and I'll come back tomorrow. Once the photo emulsion is dried on your screen, which takes about 24 hours or so, it's time to burn the image onto the screen. Now, I'll just demonstrate how this is done. As I've mentioned, the photo emulsion is light sensitive. I have video lights which will mess that up, so I'll just do it with a blank screen here. I like to lay down black paper underneath the screen to prevent light from reflecting from the bottom. Put the screen down onto the paper, take our image, which has been printed onto transparencies. I print 2 copies and line them up so that the print is nice and black, nice and dark, so it doesn't let any light through. Line those up, lay them onto the screen. Take a piece of glass. The glass needs to be larger than the printed area. Set that on top, and that just holds everything nice and flat so you get a nice crisp image burned into the screen. And then the way I like to burn the screen is I use these shop reflectors with a 150 watt clear incandescent bulb that is 18 inches from the screen. For this size screen and that distance, we'll need to turn the light on for 7 minutes. There should be instructions with your chemicals for specific times and distances and stuff. So let that sit 7 minutes, turn off the light, and what happens is the light hardens the photo emulsion, the areas that are exposed to the light. The areas underneath your printing are blacked out, light can't get to them. That photo emulsion is still water soluble, so we can wash away those areas. And the way we do that is with the best way is with a sprayer of some sort. A sprayer on a sink faucet works fairly well. Like a garden sprayer is probably a little better. You want a pretty strong force, cold water only. The way I did this current screen is I just used a utility sink and I used my hand under the faucet to kind of create some force. You have to be patient with that. It'll take a few minutes to wash away the photo emulsion in the areas that will get printed. Don't do what I've done in the past, which is use a brush. That's going to ruin things. Just use the force of the water. Once you've washed away all the areas that you want printed, you'll need to dry the screen in a flat horizontal orientation, and once that's dry, it's time to print. The screen is dry and ready to go. I'm going to take a t-shirt that's been washed and dried without fabric softener or dryer sheets because those things will repel the ink. And I'm going to take just a piece of cardboard and slide it into the t-shirt so that our printed surface doesn't bleed through to the other side. And it also keeps it nice and square and flat. Okay, I'm going to take the screen and just check for any blemishes on the screen in areas that I don't want printed. There is a little bit here, so I'm just going to take some masking tape, a small piece, and just mask off that area on the back side here. Then I'm also going to take some masking tape and mask off the edges because sometimes the emulsion doesn't go all the way to the edge of the screen and it can leak through on the edges here and get on the t-shirt. It's also a good idea to go ahead and mask any big open spaces just to prevent any ink from getting through any holes you didn't notice. I've got the screen positioned on the t-shirt where I want it. I'm going to take some ink and run a bead across the top of my screen, above the pattern. Take my squeegee, I'm going to push the ink onto the screen to fill the screen, to fill all those spaces where our printing's going to be. Okay. I'm going to take my squeegee, press it firmly at about a 45-degree angle, and draw it across the screen to deposit the ink onto the t-shirt. Lift the screen up, and we have a printed t-shirt. Once you're done printing, you can just use plain tap water to clean the ink off the screen, let it dry, and then you can do some more printing later on. Or you can reclaim the screen using the photo emulsion remover. Just follow the directions on the bottle. You'll remove all the photo emulsion, and then you can use it for a future project. I think the t-shirts turned out pretty nice. It's a little bit of work, but it's worth it for a special event or something. I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to keep up to date with my newest videos. Thanks for watching. Lift up the screen. Well, that was pretty crappy.